go to each other. So the piece in here which is in the degree I weighted state needs to go to degree I weighted state. But then the I cannot go to EI times L because L shifts the degree by 1. The only way you can get mass from same weighted state to the same weighted state is that EI needs to go to EI minus 1 times L. And the stability and so on actually tells you that this map needs to be injected. Remember that these EIs could have different ranks, lambda I and lambda I minus 1. But what if they have both rank 1? Now exactly you get that situation. You have two ideal sheaves, or maybe an upward twist, and one of them sits inside each other. And the statement is that there's definitely this partition, because we know that this partition 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, how many times exists. So definitely, when you start from calculating the Markov-Witten invariance, there should be terms coming from this difference. Maybe these corrections are correction terms of 0, but the component of the moduli is definitely there. Okay, because this partition also exists there. Okay, so this is how this story gets related to the necessivity. So, for simplicity, of course, you can take the rank equal to 2. How many partitions 2 have? Well, you can have only a sheaf of rank 2 with no constration on the surface, or a sheaf of rank 2 which is really a direction of 2 rank 1 things, one of them sitting inside the other, and this is this nested Hilbert scheme. Okay? So the virtual cycle, the localized virtual cycle actually becomes equal to the sum of the virtual cycle of each one of these components, and integration against these virtual cycles also tell you that the reduced sound atomic invariance of the people become equal to integrals over this virtual cycle, which is this term in here, plus integrals against this virtual cycle, which is the nested Hilbert scheme invariance. Okay? And it just turns out that this is the moduli space of sheaves of rank 2 being theoretically supported on the surface. So the statement is that if you have some sheaf whose rank after being pushed forward to the surface is 2, this sheaf could be either something which is honestly supported on the surface is rank 2, and those invariants are written, these are standard Witten invariants, and some combinatorial coefficient A, or that this sheaf could have rank 1 on the flat surface 2 times X, and the nested Hilbert scheme recovers that. Now, I was asked a question from Kamran yesterday, what surfaces we worked on, and this was a great question, and I added this to my slide. So what surfaces we worked on? This S is the final complete intersection for K3 surface, which means the condition is satisfied. This is the final complete intersection of phi T1 to dk, for K3, this component becomes empty. So this goes away. So this is nice because if someone wants to prove the modularity predicted by Markov-Witten theory, if they're working on the surface, they need to prove the modularity of this generating series that involves standard Witten invariance. Okay? Now, if S is a more general type surface, one of these complete intersections, for example, the quintic in P3, the surface of factory 3 in P4, or 4 2 in P4, or 3 2 2 in P5, or 2 2 2 in P6, or, for example, blow up of K3 at a point, then it just turns out that you don't need this curve class. This curve class will automatically be deleted, so that your nested Hilbert scheme component literally becomes the nested Hilbert scheme of points. You have corrections to Markov-Witten invariance, but these corrections are coming from Hilbert scheme of points, which I showed you how to calculate by pulling back class alpha, so on and so forth. So this is our formula again, and as I told you, our invariants, the reduced Thomas invariants are the same as Markov-Witten invariance. This is our generating series he developed, and then Tanaka Thomas, with a different obstruction theory, turned out they calculated the same numbers using first localization. Of course, these two are different up to a constant. If the surface of K3, the arithmetic GS is equal to 1, so that's why S to the minus 1. And these are the Markov-Witten invariants, and both of these are equal to the generating series of Markov-Witten in their paper. So this thing actually showed up in their paper, and the quality of these two generating series is verified up to the third coefficient. The calculations are heavy, so that's what I mean by Q4. Actually, we didn't do it, Tanaka and Thomas, so we were very happy that they did it. But the calculations are heavy, and there was something nice that Richard said in the paper, which is, when you do a calculation that takes 50 pages, and you calculate 3 numbers, each one of which matches with something predicted, you hope that, so maybe you actually think that maybe the rest of them should also match. It's possible, right? So anyway, so this is after the third coefficient, this verification. And so, I need to mention something. These rank 2 sheaf invariants on the base surface, these are related to the standard Witten invariance on these coefficients by the result of Mochizuki. So this is not the ABC Mochizuki, this is the Takuro Mochizuki, who's also in the same university in Kyushu. And so, some wall crossing is a master mistake. And these combinatorial coefficients, this paper also, I think Kutzov actually mentioned it, Gaucher and Kuhl recently worked out this thing, and they were hoping that they recover the Markov-Witten invariant modularity phenomenon by just looking at this piece, but this one actually has a very easy generating series, the whole thing not, since these are complicated. And he told me actually, he recently visited here, and he told me that in some cases where the nested Hilbert scheme component was definitely there and they were not vanishing, he said, we were missing some numbers, and then we realized they are in your components. So, of course, the sum of the two things may be modular, maybe not both of them are modular. But I think I would suggest that if you are interested in this, consider those final cases where this goes away and just proves the modularity of this thing. I think this is fantastic. And this is our nested Hilbert scheme. Okay, and this is how ugly these formulas look like, but I don't know, I mean, this particular coefficient A, these are here, these are these A's, you see, I mean. But Gaucher and Kuhl had the power of doing that, and they had the nerve for doing this, so they did it, fantastic. What happens for R bigger than 2, if the first term class of the sheet after being pushed forward to the surface is bigger than 2, of course, numbers bigger than 2 have more interesting coefficients, so your expected formula is again from Mochizuki constitution, which I believe you can also relate to standard Witten invariance by applying his wall crossing more than one time. And then you will get definitely the nested Hilbert scheme invariance our construction is general, and definitely we covered that, and then you will get the dot, dot, dot. And the dot, dot, dot are these components which have to do with the remaining partitions of the grand car, and there is no virtual cycle theory or intersection theory developed for those, but those are right now work in progress, and I thank you here.
Any questions?
Yes. I didn't know that. Thank you. Yes, we will check that.
Any other questions?
Yes. No, definitely. Some downstream invariants do only will become equal to the invariance of the smooth pore manifold. For final complete intersection in case 3, there is no nested correction. No, they're not.
Other questions?
Unless, let me comment something. Unless you fix the Chern character somehow that, first of all, the curve class goes away, so this will be one of those 5 complete intersections I gave, like quintic surface in T3, and you fix your Chern character of the sheet somehow that, the netting of points you get there is somehow that N1 is less than N2 by 1. That is basically smooth. And then you can calculate this point characteristic initially. And our theory actually does give us, I put the formula for it, so it's just some formula, right? So. I don't want to be that brave, but I showed it to one of my other collaborators, Yukinobu Soda, and he said, this is the DT theoretic analog of that. Holomorphic analog of that. But I'm not claiming such things. I mean, that's a very hard problem.
Other questions?
Okay, so I'm happy to introduce the next speaker. He's David Gabai from Princeton University, and his title is Fourth-dimensional light particle theory.
Right, thank you very much. So it's a real honor and pleasure to be able to be here and speak with you. Great, so it's a honor and pleasure to be able to speak at the 50th anniversary of the Journal of Differential Geometry. And I should say I'm proud of the fact that I have 8 JDG papers, and so an honor to have those papers there. And in fact, I so fondly remember that I was looking for a place to send my first paper, and the foliations that I noticed that Blaine Lawson was editor of JDG, and so I thought, well, maybe he would appreciate his paper. So that worked out okay. So I want to talk about the four-dimensional light bulb theorem. But before I do, let me just mention this, which is that it's about the study of a special case of understanding two spheres in four manifolds. So here I'm working in the smooth category. And two spheres in four manifolds, it has sort of a long history. It's an incredibly fascinating subject, and it's really fundamental to four manifolds. So, I mean, at the very least, if you're just looking at two spheres in four space, it's an incredibly rich subject, which it's amazing how little is known about that. For example, there's, every group that's a fundamental group of a knot in free space is a fundamental group of some two sphere in four space, and unlike free space where that more or less determines, the knot modulo some other things. It's far from it. For example, there's just a basic question is, if you have a two sphere in the fourth sphere, whose complement has fundamental group Z, is that two sphere just the standard sphere? And of course, one of Friedman's amazing theorems is, yes, that's true in the topological category, but in the smooth category, it's not known. And in general, in four manifold theory, if you have an H-cobordism between simply connected to close simply connected four manifolds, then if you look at this five-dimensional H-cobordism, Wolffian can be put in the middle level, and you can see sort of the ascending two spheres and descending two spheres, and of course, if you're in high dimensions, you could use the Whitney trick to disentangle them, but just understanding these spheres is really central. So here's another case of, just here to sort of, to meant for more a historical thing. So one of Steve Smale's early spectacular results was the classification of the regular homotopy of two spheres into Euclidean space, which he was able to turn the sphere inside out. And then later he developed extension of understanding K-spheres in M-space, and then, well, Mo Hirsch extending his methods to generalize this, develop this sort of general theory of immersions. But in particular, I mean, Smailius developed an analogous theory for embeddings. Presumably this will be quite hard. Even partial results in this direction would be interesting. So already when you're talking about embeddings, that I mentioned this fundamental group in just algebraic topology. Of course, incredibly sophisticated things are involved. So, but what about the question, this basic question, how did, under what conditions are two spheres actually isotopic? And as far as I know, there's strikingly little known in the subject. In fact, I mean, this, as far as I know, is really the only general theorem I know about type in the subject, which is that if you have well, I'm stating this for two spheres bounding walls, but I mean, their theorem is just true in all dimensions. But if you just have in fourth space a two sphere bounding a three wall, again, in the smooth category, then that's isotopic to the standard sphere. And the reason simply is that if it's bounding a smooth ball, and you just look at some point in the ball and just look at just a little neighborhood about that, then well, I guess that's a standard sphere. But on the other hand, since this thing bounds this thing bounds the ball, then you just smoothly isotope it to its approximately neighborhood. So it's very close, differentiably to just a standard thing. So therefore, you can make it a standard thing. So questions of when are spheres isotopic is strikingly little known. So the light bulb theorem is a condition, as you'll see in a moment, for two spheres to be isotopic. So here's the three-dimensional light bulb theorem. And the three-dimensional light bulb theorem says that if you have a knot that's just a simple closed curve in S2 cross S1, and that knot is it hits the S2 just in one point transversely, then that knot gets to be isotoped to standard just vertical curve. And well, I mean, here's sort of the main idea, which is that if you want to undo a crossing, you just slide that piece of the knot all the way down to the two sphere. You just send it around the two sphere and just send it back up, so you can just undo crossings. And after some number of crossing changes, you can see it's just a standard vertical thing. So the goal of this talk is to explain the four-dimensional version. Before I do that, why is this called the light bulb theorem? So if you have a light bulb hanging down from the ceiling, and the cord is knotted up, then you can unknot the cord without moving the bulb. So I mean, here, assuming the cord's stretchy, and you can see that the region between the sphere and the ceiling, well, if that is well, the ceiling is like the boundary of the three ball, and the bulb is the inside. If you glue the bulb to the ceiling, then you get S2 cross S1. So that's why this is sort of really the same problem. So here's the four-dimensional light bulb theorem, which is, well, you have S2 cross S2, and so you have this horizontal S2 cross 0, and then there's the standard 0 cross S2. So the light bulb theorem says that if you have another two sphere, which hits the horizontal two sphere transversely in a point, and here you can use the same homology class as the vertical one, then in fact it's isotopic to the standard one by isotopy keeping S2 cross 0 fixed pointwise. I should say 30 years ago there was partial results in this direction. Well, I guess Matsumoto, he proved this in the topological category. Actually, he proved something different, which is something more or less equivalent. And Litherland showed that there is actually a diffeomorphism that's pseudo-isotopic to identity, whatever that is. So the goal is to explain this. So one of the challenges is how to think about S2 cross S2 in some useful manner, at least for this problem. And the way we're going to think about it is, well, we have a vision, a picture of how to think about S2 cross S1. The way I think about S2 is this horizontal thing, and S1 is the vertical direction. So if we're going to look at S2 cross S2, let's keep the first S2 as S2, and the other S2, think of that as like S1 cross infinity, where you just contract the minus infinity to a point and the plus infinity to a point, right? You just take a long cylinder and just contract the ends. Well, then that's a two sphere. So if you think about it that way, then well, at least except for the end two spheres, you think about it as just a one parameter's worth of S2 cross S1s, which sort of contract to S2s at plus or minus infinity. So here's just the restatement, which is that if we think of the standard two-sphere now as, just call it G, because I think of it as green two-sphere, and it's just S2 cross Y0. Y0 is point S1 cross 0. 0 is like the time parameter. There's G is the horizontal sphere. Then the vertical sphere intersects every S2 cross S1 in just the standard vertical arc. So the Wendell theorem says that if you have a two-sphere that it just hits this green dot once transversely in the same homology class, then it's very topically standard. So to get started, it's useful to think about what does the neighborhood of this green two-sphere look like. Of course, it's obvious what to do in S2 cross S1, just sort of picking it up, and the natural thing is sort of picking it up a little bit in the time parameter too. So I should say, I should go without saying, after all, is that point where our two-sphere intersects the green sphere.